After minicamp, Jadeveion, Miles, Deontay, Dave Canales all spoke to the media. Really didn't learn anything from anybody that we didn't already know, with the exception of Dave Canales. He spoke on a couple of injuries. Other than that, nothing really to comment on, in my opinion, from the press conference. I already saw, let me see if I can find the clip. This was put out on Twitter by Michael Rimmer. Shout out to him. But I see a couple of people just underneath the post that kind of feel a certain way about these comments. I wasn't one of those people, but I mean, I'll get you guys feedback on it just real quick. This is again from yesterday's press conference after mandatory minicamp.
Yeah, because he's fill it out. Bryce, quiet guy. You know, I know he's just trying to fill it out. You know, when you're a rookie, you don't want to step, but everybody's expecting bigger things from you because you're the quarterback. That's the only thing he don't know right now. Like, we kind of trying to pull him up there because he's the quarterback. You know, the quarterback is, to me, is like one of the biggest pieces in the National Football League. You know that. Everybody buy into their quarterback, the play of his quarterback. They carry the team. So we need Bryce to energy. Like I tell everybody, it's all about his energy. If you believe it or not, we want to see you believe it or feel it. And get the guys to buy in and get on board with that. You can lead us if you just, you know.
Are you seeing signs?
Yeah, I think he'll be okay. He's making plays. He's making them play. He just ain't no talker. I played with Deshaun Watson, who wasn't no talker either. So, but he can play. On Sundays, you never knew he didn't talk. But he can play. So.
A couple people had some things to say about that. Do y'all have any comments on that at all? I mean, I feel like we already knew that Bryce wasn't really a talker. Like, the Carolina Panthers fan base is y'all were insane. Like, some of the stuff that gets y'all triggered and
what was the comments? Like, what was like some of the main comments that you?
Let me see if I can pull it up.
That's Jadeveion Clowney?
Yeah.
I got one thing to say about him, saying that like it. If you want to talk about that, how about show the fuck up first? I will say that.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, he showed up for 2 days. Like,
yeah.
how do you know? Do you know how much Bryce like talks? Bro?
Yeah.
You haven't been around the team.
Exactly.
You showed up to take pictures.
You want to say like Bryce isn't the only guy that can be a leader on the team. Like, you're a vet in the league.
But he is the leader.
No, I understand.
Which is something that I said last year all throughout the season.
I understand what he's saying, but in that same breath, you're a vet. You've been around the league for multiple years. You're also supposed to be the leader on defense. So when you go to speak on leadership, how about you take a look in the mirror and check yourself for not being there from day one? If you want to talk about leadership.
No, like actually.
Yeah. So I mean, that just doesn't make sense to me that he said that. Like,
well, he's saying he's very soft spoken, and I guess he just prefers a more vocal leader.
I mean, cool. You can be a vocal leader as well, but
that's what he said. He said he's not necessarily really understanding that we want more from him. We want a little bit more from him. That's what I took from it to a certain degree. So maybe that was the whole conversation piece. Just translation.
Well, just maybe show up.
I mean,
the best ability is availability. Show up.
I mean, you know how I feel. You know how I feel about it. We talked about it last week. I'm not 100% upset with that. It's mandatory. Since everything has been mandatory, he was there yesterday. He was there 2 days ago. So, you know, I like you said, when it's mandatory time, if they show up, then cool, everything is forgiven. And if not, then we have a problem. When it was mandatory time, it has been the past 48 hours, 72 hours. He's been there. He's been there. So,
that's fine. I don't know. When I see someone like as a leader, then I'm seeing them as someone that's been there day one. When there's opportunities for them to be there, they are there. They are with their team, supporting their teammates, and he just wasn't there for day one. So it's hard for me to be like, to respect his comments regarding leadership in that breath. Like,
yeah, but I will say though, at the same time, like I do see what he's saying in the sense like Bryce doesn't really come off as like somebody who's very loud and like in your face type of leader. Like Bryce is more of a lead by example, you know, type of guy. He's not going to sit there and tell you what to do, but he's going to do what he does, and then he's going to expect you to follow his lead. That's kind of how it comes off.
Yeah. And we knew that. I feel like majority of us knew that, so it's not anything that he said that was like
shocking. It was like a revelation or nothing, but it's just like
it's just what you prefer in your leader, which was the conversation that, you know, we had. I want to say, when did we go on Two Fans? What was this, 2 or 3 months ago?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and I made that comment. Like it's just a preference, and I said that was one of the things that I didn't prefer about Bryce. It's not that I hate it, it's not that I don't like it, but for me personally, being a former football player, I prefer my leaders to be more vocal, because that's how I was. I was a leader on the field, and I was more vocal.
Yeah,
but it's just a preference thing, I guess.
And I get that. A lot of the times, it's not about what a person says; it's about who it's coming from.
That's very true.
Like, I don't think he was necessarily wrong in anything that he said, but, like, if you're on the outside looking in and you're familiar with his situation and how he's been throughout his career by not being there day one, it's like, it's kind of hard to, like, look into exactly what you're saying.
Jadeveion Clowney, you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if that was coming from someone like a Derrick Brown or one of those other guys who's been there, a Shaq Thompson or something like that, then, it would be a little more, like, respectable. So that's all I'm saying about it. I don't think he's wrong in what he said.
Understood. I respect that.